On TikTok, they were like, do you want to read your aura? I am wearing purple. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Someplace Underneath.
I'm Natalie Jean.
I'm Amber Nelson. So TikTok, they said, we can look at your aura, and I saw some purple violet vibes. But I am also wearing purple, and it's also TikTok. So, but I read that violet aura means I'm psychic.
Well, I don't need it. No more questions for me.
No more from me.
What am I thinking right now?
100% hype train. I knew that was going to happen.
Whoa!
I knew.
What am I thinking?
You are thinking that we're going to have a great show.
I was having intrusive thoughts, actually.
Oh, buddy. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Oh, how's everybody doing today?
We got some subs already off the bat. Oh, my God. Thanks for the subs. Shardy, Janity, and Not Yo Mama's Cryptid. Great name. And LZYTYPR and Zenoro. Thank you, guys.
Shardy Janati.
And we got a hype train coming up at 22%. If you are listening to this on a podcast instead of watching us on Twitch, you might be confused as to why I'm saying certain things like hype train. Thanks for the subs. That's because we're just doing a loosey-goosey in-between episodes stream that we're also putting out on a podcast for you lovely listeners and viewers.
Yeah, we'll have a little blurb before each episode while we're doing this too.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I get it. We're doing a different kind of show in between, and it's confusing for some people. I get it.
That's it. And if you're listening in, I am wearing centaur pants and a top hat. So just imagine that on my butt.
And El Condor Pasta 69. Yeah, Amber, can you tell us where Shelly is?
Shelly is she's in the woods. I'm seeing woods. I'm seeing a gate. I'm seeing milk. She's drinking a cold, whole milk glass.
With Tiger Woods.
They're there.
And Bill Gates.
Is this heaven? Harambe's there too.
Ugh, I don't know if that's heaven. That's how I describe that. Man, I just... I went to Disneyland last weekend, and I found out through the internet that we just missed Kanye by 3 days at Disneyland, and I'm really bummed out about it because he was going with just his wife, none of the children. And did I send you the pictures to... I don't know. We talked about his wife. We've talked about some of the outfit choices, about whether or not they are fully consensual. These pictures at Disney, they're walking around. How do I describe this outfit? It's like a nude tube on the torso section, and then there's a big flap, like a peanut butter colored flap over the front of her. But the best part is she doesn't have any shoes on.
Wow, and her tits are hanging out too. And I don't want to be clutching my pearls like a grandma, but I do believe that when you're at Disney, and this is coming from the queen of wear whatever you want, you probably shouldn't have your mommy milkers out. You might make the kids confused.
Well, especially because this is breaking like six dress code violations for a theme park. Man, just... walking around on Disneyland's grounds with just snowshoes on is definitely a choice. If they went on rides, dirty-ass floors. Did they go on water rides all covered in slime?
Some people love that, though. That's the foot fetish folks. You would think that they want them clean.
There we go. This is from, like, a few days ago.
She's got a foot brace on.
It looks like she's got gauze around the bottom of her foot and ankle, but not over her toes or heel. They are in Star Wars land. I don't know if this is supposed to be like representative of their outfits or something, but I do feel like they have shoes in space. Probably.
They should. Oh, and Pink Coffee Cake says Disney has such strict dress codes.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter...
if you're rich.
If you are going to throw a temper tantrum about it and you have money. I guess. How crazy would it be to just see them walking around? Disneyland.
I would honestly probably wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, "Oh, whoa," and then like carry on my day.
I wouldn't like hiss at them or anything.
No.
But it would be wild to just see them casually walking around Disneyland with like no shoes on. You're like, all right, we all see ya. All right, no one's paying attention to anything but you. Again, congratulations. So happy for you guys once again that you're distracting everyone's life and kids can't just enjoy themselves here. We just gotta like be upset about your outfit, I guess.
I guess maybe you can ask them to bless you, the patron saint of Yeezys.
Bless. Oh, maybe he would have accepted that.
I think he'd love that.
A guy I went to college with walked around our campus without shoes on because he wanted to be like a Hobbit raccoon Barbie.
Cool.
Well,
there's a whole movement where people don't wear shoes. And they even like cut off the bottom of their shoes to go to like places like grocery stores where they like make you put on shoes, like those fascists they are. And they just say that like no shoes is more freeing. And, you know, I might agree.
I don't know. That seems like a fetish to me.
It's a fetish. I would say the glass on the ground isn't very freeing, but you do you. Oh, we have another hype train. Everybody, great job. And if we get a hype train, I'll take my socks off.
But
you'll see my shoes.
You won't show the feet.
Oh, is that illegal?
You need to be charging for it.
Oh, well, if we get another hype train, that is charging for it.
Oh, no, you are going to be drawing a specific audience to the stream.
I will show you, and I have hair on my toes, too. You guys ready?
Definitely, I mean, hey, Hobbit fetish, right? Like that guy from your college. I think, don't Hobbits have special feet, though? You can't have, aren't they like huge and extra hairy?
Huge and gross. Oh, Eloriel says, I actually saw a breakdown of that video saying it was just rage bait and engagement farming. They only cut up their cheap shoes. That makes sense. Everything's fake, right?
Yeah, a lot of things are just rage baiting, for sure. I guess any attention is good attention. Okay, we got Gorglocks, Devil's Advocate. She's from Australia, where a lot of people just don't wear shoes. Maybe like 1 in 20 I see where I am.
Well, you're going to Australia soon, Natalie, right?
I'm not sure if I'm going with them or not.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Because you can join in on the free feet market.
I will not be doing that. But I am potentially going to the New Zealand shows. I'm excited if we do that because I've never been.
Have you seen that art exhibit in New Zealand where this woman won't let men in, and the guy got so mad about it, he sued her, which was her whole intention anyway, because it's to draw attention to the fact that women aren't allowed in some places still. And it's going to the big court in Australia, and she's like, well, I guess if he wins, then there'll be no more art show because men are not allowed. She said something like, they can come in if they're under 25 and hot enough.
Oh,
which
God.
is fucking troll bait. It's kind of hilarious.
It is. It's sort of like doing the Barbie thing, I guess.
I guess.
Guys, I am like right. Speaking of women things, I'm about to start my period, and my brain is just like slog right now.
Well,
it's
you're so smart, so I'm sure your brain right now is just like most people's. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you idiots. I'm dumb. Update news, somebody we talked about, which is very good, not exciting really, the guy named Stephen Stearns, who was the boyfriend of the mother of a 13-year-old girl who went missing a few weeks ago. We played some of their clips of the mom and the boyfriend talking on the news. It was very bizarre. The guy was obviously a creep. He was also, if you recall, whenever he did the thing that people do where they accidentally factory reset their phone right before they didn't get into the cops.
Yeah, you know how you do every Monday.
You're just like, oh, man, oh.
Accidentally.
Oh, my stuff. They can still find it, so that doesn't work. And there was horrible stuff on his phone. He was arrested for CSAM of this poor child, and she was found, unfortunately, in the forest dead, and they had not had any charges for the murder yet until today. They just announced that they are filing charges for murder with Stephen Stearns, but they're still saying the case is not even close to being closed, and I think a lot of people, if you're following that case at all, let me know what you think. A lot of people are still unclear of whether the mother or not is involved. Her name is Jennifer Soto. And he had been, according to what they found on his phone, he had been assaulting this little girl for years, like 5 years at least, repeatedly. I think they said like something like 600 images or something on his phone. It was like a horrible amount. And people are kind of asking how it's possible that she would have never, ever, ever had any inkling that something was wrong. It can happen. It can happen sometimes, but I have a lot of, I question that.
She had to have known. It was just, you know, she's wanted by a man, Natalie. That's the most important thing.
Which is a lot of speculation, because we see that happen all the time in stories. A single mother wants attention so badly, needs it so badly from a man that they will literally sacrifice their child. And it's not that uncommon. It makes me very sad, and I do wonder if she's going to end up facing charges, because they still haven't completely cleared her, which makes me think that they are still like looking into a bunch of. Her whole family was acting very strange. Even the grandmother was.
They all had to have known.
Bizarre.
GR8 Odin's Raven, great name. As a mom myself, get out here. I don't know how she didn't have any inkling. Yeah, you would know. My mom knows. She calls me when I'm having like a super bad day, and she's like, "The Lord just said I should call you." And I'm like, "How did you know?" Like, she knows her daughter's being abused.
I think she had to have at least known something was wrong. Like, maybe she didn't know to the extent, but maybe she did. We don't know what they haven't charged her with anything, so they might not have concrete evidence that she was, like, for example, participating, which is unfortunately not that uncommon in these cases, that they eventually get sort of coerced and then just like agree to participate in some of this, which one of the things we'll be talking about today in another case. But she could have been a willing participant, the mother. Sometimes they are. So we're going to find out. But I am very thankful that they finally filed charges against him. I'm sure it was because they were making sure they had all of their stuff lined up before they put the murder charges on him. But I'm glad for that. And he's never going to see
the daylight again?
No.
No, you can't.
And it's going to be probably, not to be a cliche, but those crimes are they're absolutely like unbelievably bad. He's gonna have a horrible time in prison, and he deserves it.
That is, man.
I for one, as I've said before, I don't believe in the death penalty for ethical reasons, but also because I think some people get to escape through the death penalty I think they should have to sit and stare at a wall for 30 years.
Oh, right. They get the sweet serenity of release, and like, no, you don't get that.
No.
It's almost worse to just have to sit.
Yeah, I think it is. Plus, with the death penalty, there's been so many
wrongfully
accused, and
and that
you can't play God in that way, in my opinion.
You can't, and that
Ooh, is that an earthquake?
Earthquake. There's an earthquake.
Oop.
There was an earthquake?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that definitely felt like an earthquake.
We have an earthquake live on Twitch, everybody. Isn't this exciting? We were talking about playing God and an earthquake happened.
Yeah, what a fun place to be in an earthquake in the middle with all these hot lights all around us.
Yay! What the fuck?
Well, let's see. Maybe it'll be over.
We have people looking in it right now.
Everybody cool out.
Yeah, I don't know what that could have been.
I'm pretty sure it was an earthquake.
Sorry, guys.
It's so action-packed over here at the LPN studios. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well. Yep. I was going to say something about sorry, I farted. L'Oreal, they're great. Thanks, L'Oreal, for leaving it.
Oh, I thought you were saying you farted.
No, L'Oreal. Maybe a truck drove into the building. Ooh.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's much better than an earthquake. All right. Yeah, so.
Now I'm all fucked up. That's all right. We got more news stories.
We sure do. Man, there's just a lot. This was an unintentional bunch of stories that we were each presenting today, but it's a lot of cops and a lot of boys in blue.
Oh, boys in blue. I'm sorry, I'm still looking. It looks like no earthquake.
No, that was definitely an earthquake.
Sorry. All right. So we got a lot of boys in blue problems today. Should we start with the this fine and fantastic man, Elias?
Is we to start with him?
Hulazar. I might be mispronouncing it because I have to keep looking at like TikToks to know how to pronounce his name.
Elias.
I'm so sorry.
It looks like it says maybe Elias Huizar.
Huizar. That's it.
This has been updated pretty recently today.
Yes,
we've had some news flashes about it.
He did end his own life. The baby he kidnapped is safe.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to pull that up. So this is the guy. He was a policeman. I forget where he was a policeman. We have so many cops today. Let's see. Does it say he had this guy had a bunch of pretty
Washington State.
Washington State. Thank you. He's the one that had he got caught with kids, right? This is one of the ones that got caught with kids.
Yeah, so this guy, sort of like the timeline about this guy. So he had this wife with 2 kids with her. They get a divorce. She says that he's so emotionally manipulative that she wants to get full custody, right? He is a cop at a school. And at that time, he falls in love with a 15-year-old girl, and they have a baby. So around the time of this happens, she's 17. So the baby's around, she's pregnant, and now it's about a year old, the child, right? So were people aware that he was the father? I don't know if people were aware, because some stories were like, we don't know who this girl is, but she was his girlfriend that was found later. But I don't know if they were aware at the school at the time.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not either. So this girl, she's now 17. She brings over her like 16-year-old friend, and they have a sleepover, and they're living together in the house at this time. So of course, he feeds them both alcohol and assaults them. The 2 girls escape from the house. They take the young girls, like the girl's car, and they get out. They call the cops. There's a SWAT team on the house. But you can't give alcohol and like assault minors. So there's a whole SWAT team on the house. If they eventually come out, they find him trying to clean the bed sheets where he assaulted the girl.
Are you like at this point?
He was just like quickly like, let me get away with it real quick, like seeing what he could do.
This was gonna be the thing that got him off the charges.
Well, I guess the bed sheets were clean. They're lying whores. So what happens is he posts bail for $200,000. And I'm sorry, if you have a SWAT team come to your house and have crimes with children with sexually committed charges, you shouldn't get bail.
That is truly, that's deplorable. Like that should not exist.
No,
there should be no reason to get, if you've done sex crimes to a kid, you shouldn't get bail. You are a danger. And we're going to talk about this a little bit too. There was something that somebody who sent an email into LPN, who was a forensic psychologist, who has some thoughts about. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but people who offend in that way usually have really hard, really weak impulse control.
Yeah.
So
you can't reform that.
No, you can't let somebody, if they committed a crime and then they go to jail, you can't give them bail of a crime of that caliber. Like you said, if we're keeping the bail system, nonviolent offenses, things like that,
We're just starting to learn about the brain and how even concussions can affect, your thought processes, your, what's that word you used earlier? The I want it now.
I want it now.
I want it now.
Impulse control.
Thank you. I want it now. And like impulse control and like how your brain affects that. So there needs to be a lot of scientific studies done on this, even before we can like let these predators out. But I digress. So
he got the bail. And guess what he did?
Guess what he did? So he shows up to school where his wife is working. He's no longer a cop anymore because, I forget why, but he's not a cop at the school anymore. But he shows up to his ex-wife's school, different school, and then shoots her, kills her.
This is his wife, who was an adult woman.
His ex-wife with 2 kids with him, who wanted the kids full custody because he was emotionally manipulative. He shoots her, and then kidnaps a baby and leaves. The cops go to his house to investigate with a warrant, as you do after you've killed somebody, and they find the body of his 17-year-old girlfriend. So the cops were like, he is armed and dangerous. He has killed. He will kill again. There was Amber Alerts going out.
If only there was some way that he could have been kept off the streets during this process.
But he was on his way to Mexico. This is the baby, the sweet little baby.
Okay, but the update is, I think this just happened today. They caught up with him again. He had basically a standoff with the cops. Instead of going in, he killed himself. He blew his...
The coward way out in this situation. Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion. In this situation. I'm not talking about doing that in general.
In mental health in broader terms, no. But if you're wanted at a man chase for murder and
not
sexual
facing
assault,
your consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but the positive news is that the son, the little boy, was not hurt. So he survived, which is the best thing we can hope from in this situation. I don't think it's going to be the kid's gonna have an easy time.
No, because he's the only one left, and he's so young. Will he remember? I don't know a lot about child psychology. Can you just lie to this kid and be like, "You've had a great childhood"?
I think that would not end well, probably, especially because he would eventually find out.
He would. Yeah.
But no, I'm sure this is studied. But it does make me curious about the studies of the minds of kids who've gone through this thing. We just talked about that other woman who was the TikTok psychic influencer woman who said the eclipse was the end of the world, and then she killed her. Two of the people in her family, but the baby survived. So she basically pushed her 9-year-old daughter and her infant out of the moving car. 9-year-old died, baby survived.
Damn.
I think, or was it the other way around? One of the kids survived, but those situations where the entire family's gone, but the one child. There must be people studying the effects of that on a kid's brain, because it happens. I don't know how you get past that. I don't know how you become
one with society after that. I don't know, but I wish them well.
You have to have just really good support systems around you, and hopefully somebody who's going to take you to good therapy and all that stuff. But a lot of times these kids get pushed back into foster care and stuff, which is also usually not that great.
No, but this is also a sort of nod to it's good to be an aunt that's around, a friend, be a godmother, godfather. God forbid anything were to happen.
Yeah. We
can put this kid somewhere else instead of in the foster system.
I hope so.
I'm glad we have a foster system, but there are problems in it.
A lot of problems. I'm glad though. Yes, I'm glad that he's okay, and hopefully he has family. So we had this one, and then there just kept being a bunch of police stories.
Yeah, this week was
wasn't looking
crazy
for them; they just kept showing up. The Weed Wife. I work with survivors of CSA, and they have felt memories of things they experienced at age 3. I totally believe that. You have the same jelly in there, as a baby.
Yeah. I've never read the book, The Body Stores the Trauma or whatever.
Body Keeps the Score.
Right. And I don't know why it doesn't sit right with me.
There's people who I think that a lot of people have a lot of good to say about it, and I think it's probably a good book for a lot of people, but there's also people who criticize it in the mental health field, and anything. There's nothing perfect for everyone. But, the idea of those things do happen, we have to sort of also contrast that with stuff we've talked about as far as repressed memory therapy that has been proven to be not that accurate a lot of time.
Which is how we got Satanist cult.
Right. People can be sort of manipulated into thoughts from their past, but that doesn't mean that you don't have memories as a young person.
Right.
It's usually just not you were going about your day and then suddenly somebody reminds you that you were in, you lived in a cave with 12 adults and you guys all ate live goats and you could fly for a while.
Right.
Usually it's smaller things, but
The Weed Wife says, I recommend The Deepest Well over The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Weed Wife. Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't read the damn book, so I do not have the authority to speak, but I don't know why I'm sort of fuck you,
I mean, hey, go off vibes.
Go off
right?
vibes.
That's all we should do. Go off the aura. Maybe the book's aura is off.
Maybe. It's not violet, that's for sure.
So we got this, so another guy. His name's Stephen Kyle Cugini. He is also a police guy, little police fellow. I guess you can read the headline if you are watching. He was arrested for
13-month-old?
Yeah.
Throw away the key.
Yeah.
And lock him in hell. Oh my God.
Yeah. So this happened on my birthday, which is really cool. York County, PA. I think that's in the middle somewhere, which is Pennsylvania area. Yeah. This is just another guy. Oh, yeah, this is by Hershey. Yep. So this is just another officer who did this stuff. And I just found him and I thought, hey, let's bring him up. Isn't that cool? You guys didn't have that information before, and now you do. So isn't that great for your Wednesday evening?
Right. I'm sure like not all cops are like this, but if you're like sent to uphold the law and you're doing this shit, then this might be a problem, and we should talk about it.
Yeah.
And needs some reform.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
There's not. I mean, there's just. It's important to know these things. We don't know how long he's been doing this, but if you're doing this at this caliber, and also fair warning, if you read it, it's not very pleasant to read. I do think that the child survived it, but yep.
I hate this. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Yep, that's what I do.
Well, I'm glad the child survived, and hopefully we will have, aunts, uncles, people around them to give them love and peace, and let's pray that they have a beautiful long life ahead of them and that this man will never see the light of day again.
Yeah, speaking of love and peace, here we have another fellow who
Fuck,
was in the
Natalie.
Navy.
No! Sorry.
Spring couple charged with lewd acts and possession of illegal materials. So this
Oh, is this
gentleman,
the woman with the dog? I'm sorry.
Wow.
I
Just
waited to jump the
spoiling
shark.
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not.
She's too
something-
hot to be fucking dogs. Come on.
She's very pretty. I can't say for sure that he was the ringleader, but it does seem like he has a lot more charges against him, and he seems to have a lot of stuff on his phone. Sometimes this can happen in couples, but it's not always the guy doing it. Sometimes it's the woman convincing the guy to do stuff. But yeah, he got caught in a grocery store doing something, but they don't say expressly what it was, but it was lewd. And it was around kids. And so I think he was at a point where he literally could not control himself anymore, maybe.
Yeah, he can't be rehabilitated.
But
He wants it now.
yeah, he does. He does. He really seems to. Because of his actions, they ended up going through his stuff, and they found a bunch of CSEM and also bestiality. So he was also stalking children, which is just like,
Fuck you, man.
I
don't have a
know.
kid, but if you're like some thick ass neck motherfucker in the grocery store stalking my kid, I will get a hammer and break it.
I do wonder if this is just something he's gotten away with his whole life. Did they start doing like meth or something? Not because drugs make you do this, but if you already have stuff going on there and the impulse control goes away, I don't know if this is something he's been doing his whole life. But unfortunately, also his wife had stuff. God, she was doing stuff with the Great Dane that they had. But just so you know, that he's actually one of the good guys. If you want to throw up his Twitter profile picture.
The porn? Sorry.
Oh God!
Can you imagine if we showed that right now?
Oh no! Pray for America, everyone. He's really concerned about that.
Look at this twink death with him in the Navy. He was so attractive then. What happened, sir?
That's a little bit of a stretch. He does sort of look like Walter from Murder Fist, though.
He kind of does.
Walter.
Walter.
What are you doing? Yeah, so that is kind of wild too, to have your profile picture be a picture of your head with a smaller picture of your head next to your head. You know, that's an interesting method. Here's me when I was younger. I guess you have to just be really proud. I'm sure the Navy's thrilled that he has this profile picture. Interestingly enough, we have another guy from the Navy. I don't know what's going on.
What's going on, guys? Earthquakes?
Yeah.
All this?
We got
There's somebody for everybody. Yeah, I'm single as fuck, and there's all these people in the chat that are like, I guess there's somebody for everyone, but I'd rather be single than like find this shit out.
Yeah, I think in general, sometimes being single is because you are not going to end up being with somebody just to be with them who's also doing things like this, and you go like, well, he's a really nice guy though. I mean, he's like, oh, he takes me to dinner.
Like sometimes it can get stressful. Like I'm at the airport being like, where's my bag? I gotta check in, I gotta get in. Like it'd be nice to have a partner to help, you know, but not this.
Sometimes that guy's probably really good at lifting luggage up into the overhead bin.
That's right. I hope he's good at lifting stones in prison.
Oh, they do CrossFit there.
Okay,
that's cool.
great.
Yeah, so another guy, Navyman Bruce Meneley, he was caught. He was 67. He was an active medical personnel in the Navy for like a lot of his adult life. He was in a sting he was speaking back and forth with an undercover police officer, making plans to meet the person's children in a hotel room.
7 and 11 years old.
They were 7 and 11.
These are fictional children, by the way.
Yeah, they're not real.
But that's not to say he hasn't done this before.
It is not very common for the first time for somebody to do this to be 67 years old. It's very unlikely.
I highly doubt it. Yeah, this is not his first rodeo.
Probably not. So it was an undercover sting, and while that was happening, he didn't shoot himself, right? I think he got shot.
No, the cops came, and then he came out with a gun. So he was ready to, like, kill a cop, I guess.
Or it could have been suicide by police, which is the thing that happens a lot of the time.
They shot him, like, 20 times.
Yeah. So it seems like he was half expecting this to happen. Like, he brought a gun with him, but maybe he just always had a gun. I don't know. I doubt this was the first time. So I don't know if they're going to end up being able to look through his stuff and help find other victims of this, like use some of what he potentially has in his possession. Maybe that can help other cases, but he got shot and he is dead. He is another, if you want to pull, did I send you the other picture of him getting his like salutations photo? I might not have. I just was gonna show you. It's just, I guess Navy is white.
Yeah, he was like pretty high up in the military. Like you just don't get those medals.
Oh yeah, he had. If you look at that obituary, he was working. What was it? He worked at the emergency medical department at Guantanamo Bay.
Jeez.
He had a big long military career. He was like considered. He was like highly respected. He had spoken with media before about like other, like I think he was like trying to talk about abuse in hospitals or something. I think he was talking about that in an interview like 5 or 6 years ago, which is just men. Man, they contain, not just men, but all people contain multitudes, and that is terrifying.
It's terrifying. Also, my heart goes out to like, I'm glad these FBI agents are doing this, where they're like pretending to offer kids up. What does that do to you psychologically after years? It's like the people who work at Facebook that try to to monitor so I don't have to see a headless man on my page. If you just see these images and talk to these people every day, like, do they have a specialty therapist? Can they go somewhere? Can they go on vacation? Like,
wasn't it becoming an issue because Facebook monitor people, or like the suicide rates were really high?
Probably. I saw an interview with this guy said that he saw his first image of something really bad, And he was like, he didn't know what to do because it was so horrifying. And this older woman comes up with a tissue and then clicks delete with the tissue so she didn't have to touch the keyboard herself. So that's kind of like she's not, that's like her way of being not affected by it. You know, does that make sense?
Wait, say again?
So she, like, you know, you click delete with the computer.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that with your hand, she did it with a tissue, so she's not touching it. So she's
like
not involved.
So it's like a psychological...
It's like a psychological,
okay, so it's just
I'm
like
2 steps away.
A way to work around your brain so you don't go completely insane.
Exactly.
Hey, whatever
you
works.
need.
Yeah, sure. It seems pretty harmless. Yeah. I don't know I can't find that off. Oh, there we go. There he is. That guy. Isn't that crazy? You just look at this guy, it's just a guy.
Because he looks like a hero.
Just looks like a dude.
I would say thank you for your service, which I was told by a former Marine, not to say that. To
Why?
never say thank you for your service. This is what this guy said, but he said, because we were out in the field and I remember the bombs and I remember the sounds. He's like an older guy, so I'm assuming Nam. And he's like, when you say thank you for your service, I go back to those times and I hate that. And I said, what should I say? And he just says, you know, just say nothing. And I was like, okay, I guess, but that was just him. If you are a current or former service person, let us know in the chat what we should say, if anything at all, you know?
And yeah, it probably varies person to person too. I get what he's
guess.
saying though, but
Yeah.
I imagine, you know, people wouldn't know to not say that. They're trying to be kind. It's hard.
Yeah, P0 Werschel says, I'd agree, former Army, don't care to hear it.
Ah, interesting.
Okay.
All right.
I say thanks for the oil.
Thanks for the oil.
That's what Uncommon One says. It's pretty funny. Thanks for the oil. Oh, I work with a veteran. He's 83. He says the same thing. Former Army. So I guess don't say thank you for your service. Just be like, hi, have a good day.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, but it's crazy. You look at a guy like that. He just looks like some dude, but he goes to hotels to meet 7-year-olds. Yeah, show him again.
Show him again.
Just in case you forgot what he looked like.
But he's dead. He's in hell with that other guy. Do you think they're just, what are they doing in hell right now? If that even exists.
I don't know, because a lot of the religions I've heard of, their hell...
Their heaven sounds like my hell. When they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, I can't wait to go to heaven and do what I want. I'm like, what's stopping you from doing what you want now? The law?
Based on a lot of religions, the worst people are going to be in heaven.
Right.
Because they said, sorry.
Sorry. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
is your heaven just me like hiding in an abandoned shelter, like Fallout or something?
You're getting chased like a rabbit. That's their
is that
heaven.
heaven?
Like, Amber, I'm sorry you had to go to heaven for this guy. He really wanted to chase you around this warehouse. You're like, okay, I guess that's fine. But I guess I didn't get a chance to. Was there a comment card I could put somewhere to tell you about where I would want to go? Or okay,
no, I guess I
All
don't
right.
matter though.
I guess I don't matter.
I'm not fully human. Let's do a question for the chat, a poll. Are women human beings? Let's do that. We don't have to, but what I was being a goof.
You're being a bit of a goof. This is another really interesting story that sucks, but it's kind of cool.
Oh, can I say, sorry, the weed wife, just a therapist with several veteran clients. It makes many of them angry and resentful when people say thank you for your service. One of them said that I appreciate your sacrifice, but mostly what I hear is please just leave us and stop using us as political pawns when many don't support the war at this point.
Right. It's hard. I can't imagine how much that sucks to be used in that way, because just because you served in the military doesn't mean you have any specific political ideations or preferences or beliefs, and to be sort of used as like a character on any side of it would be incredibly annoying.
It's like, my life was on the line. Why are you using me as a pawn?
Like to get money from constituents. Yeah, that sucks. I'm way too intimidated to ever say that to somebody anyway. So I'll go, yes, when I see them.
Yeah. It's like you're a British aristocrat.
Yes.
Yes. Or like Carol Channing. Yes. Do people know who Carol Channing is yet? Still, please.
I'm sure they do. I'm watching older seasons of Drag Race with Henry, and somebody did Carol Channing as an impersonation. It was very funny.
Oh, good.
Bob the drag queen.
Love Bob.
So this is not a cop, guys. not quite as horrific, but pretty awful. This is a story that just happened. It's not anything that's new to society, but I think it's important to talk about and just remind people to always be paying attention to people around you, and like you can't fully just like disengage with everybody if you're in public and you're alone, because stuff happens all the time. But so this is a video of a young man. He's 21 years old. His name's Thomas Elliott. If you want to roll it.
That creepy guy is about to target the woman crouching by the children's bookshelf. Watch as he slips his phone beneath her skirt.
Excuse me, what are you doing? No, I just saw you put that underneath her dress.
But another shopper confronts him.
No, ma'am, I really wasn't.
You absolutely did.
Liar.
Then show me your phone. No, we're gonna call security.
He claims he was shopping for children's books because his sister is pregnant, but neither woman is buying it.
You've been extremely close to me this whole time. Please show me your phone.
No.
I really promise I wasn't
No.
trying to do anything inappropriate. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I'm not like that.
Obviously you are. I literally have it on video. I knew you were up to no good.
Despite his denials, police arrested 21-year-old Thomas Elliott at the Target store in Greenville, North Carolina. He's charged with 5 counts of felony secret peeping. Get this, he's a volunteer at a local church and an elementary school. Both have cut ties with him.
Damn, he's kind of, sorry, I was gonna say he's cute, but that's okay. I'm not gonna say that because he's a gross man.
And he's also very, very young, but he's not. Yeah, I think the pervert kind of cliche is it's like, oh, he's a creep. He just looks like a normal kid.
He's like a normal guy. I'm not a person. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I'm off the dating apps, so I don't know what's attractive anymore. I don't know who I want. But fuck this guy. He's gross. Don't literally fuck him. See, check his hard drive.
I think they are probably checking all of. I don't think they found anything specifically on his phone other than like this video, but that doesn't mean that. The way that I saw that video, which is him, if you're listening to this, him going up to a woman who's crouched over at, like, I think it looked like a Target. She's on like a bottom shelf trying to find something, and she's wearing a dress, and he belligerently, like, just blatantly walks over behind her, directly behind her, puts his phone down directly under her skirt, and is obviously filming her. And there's a second woman who has noticed him being weird to her, and so she's like, she got a little spidey sense, and she started following him around, and she kind of just put her phone in the cup holder of her cart, so you couldn't really tell it was on and filming, and was just sort of looking away, and he just went straight for it in front of other people in the store.
Because he knows, like, probably other dudes aren't going to say anything, right? At that store.
Maybe. The way that he was so comfortable doing that, it would make it hard for me to believe that was the first time that he ever did that.
What gets me is, like, he can go and subscribe to OnlyFans. There are plenty content creators who would love to take his money that are doing it consensually, but he doesn't want that.
No.
He wants the thrill of them not knowing and feeling naughty and, like, being a naughty, bad person.
Yeah, and I think the idea of it being naughty is also dangerous, because that's assault. You're assaulting somebody. That is SA. Non-consensual. Completely.
Yes. Do we need, like, because I know Japan has, like, clicker things, shutter sounds on the phone. Should we have that everywhere?
I don't know, man, but I do think that it happens all the time, which is the reason I wanted to show that video. Obviously, this has been happening since the dawn of mirrors.
Right.
We all have seen those really quirky, funny things where the guy wears the mirror on his shoe, and he's looking at. But now you can film it, record it, upload it, share it with other people, and you're right. It is about the
thrill of being wrong.
non-consensual aspect of it. It's not about because you could pay somebody. You could have somebody on OnlyFans or one of those sites. You could pay them to do that, to have like pretend upskirt videos.
Yeah.
But that's not what a lot of those kind of people want.
No, he wants it naughty, and he wants it now. And you saw how he talked. He was like, no, I wouldn't. I would never do that. And honestly, like, he was such a good liar that I would have kind of believed him if it wasn't videotaped.
Yeah, I'm just an innocent. I work at a church and a school. I don't know.
I tuck in my shirt. I'm a good boy.
I'm a good boy. And he was acting that way, but I can't imagine that this is the first time he's going out and doing something like this, or at the very least he's secretly consuming so much stuff in shame that he doesn't understand like the difference between consensual and non-consensual. I'm not giving him any outs or breaks on that or anything, but this brings me to there was a really interesting email sent to the LPN email account, and it was from a forensic psychologist who was reaching out because of last podcast doing the Snowtown series, which, if you're not familiar, is really tough. It's a really tough story, and I'm sure a lot of you are last podcast listeners, so they're talking about all this right now. Not Edward Snowden, like Eddie first thought. First thought they were covering Edward Snowden, and he studied
Right.
for that.
Oh, really? He studied under... I mean, it's still good to know Edward Snowden. I don't know a lot about him. I know he's hiding.
I love Eddie so much, and he's the best. And he was trying to do like the prep work, and he came and was just like, I don't know, I don't see any of this stuff happening in any of this research. I've been looking at this forever. They're like, oh, buddy, no, it's not. No.
Oh, no.
Edward Snowden was doing this? No, it's a very, very awful story out of Australia. But it involves child sex offenders, let's say that. And so this person who didn't want to be named but checks out as a forensic psychologist, I thought it was really interesting that she was bringing up certain things about offenders because, like we all probably know already, a lot of them have had abuse as a kid, but that's not always the case. And it's also not always the case. It's not always people who were abused, but a lot of times it is. But this person also makes some points here that are super interesting to me. So what they've studied, and they are an expert with sex offenders, with crimes against children, stuff like that, that violent sexual fantasies are correlated with paternal physical abuse, maternal emotional abuse, sexual trauma blanketly, hostile sexist beliefs, and poor coping skills, which would include masturbating to cope, with life stress, poor social skills, and problematic sexual behavior in childhood and adolescence. So I think a lot of those probably were already things that maybe you had heard before when you were listening to people talk about, professionals talk about why people offend. The hostile sexist beliefs is really interesting to me because that's something I think that we've talked about a lot, not only with religion, but places where maybe the idea of women as possessions is a little more accepted as the overarching.
Oh, right. Because you can't abuse something that's not human.
Yeah.
That's why. Put up a poll. Are women human? I'm just kidding.
But it is interesting that she's saying there that this is something that has been studied regularly with offenders, which is if you're not taught that women are people, that it becomes a lot easier to offend. And this is specifically talking about people who offend against children, but this sort of upskirting the non-consensual stuff in this way, I think, is still close enough in connection to that kind of, again, low impulse control issues. And masturbating to cope with life stress seems to be maybe a thing, like somebody who was compulsively like having to look up somebody's skirt. Is that because he was taught because her skirt was short, she wasn't really that, she was kind of asking for it? Is that a place that he grew up? I'm not saying, I looked into actually the church he worked at, and it's hard to say what, it didn't seem like immediately like one that was like very toxic, but who knows if it had anything to do with that. But it does kind of make you question, is that something that he saw and was like, well, she's already wearing a dress that's like above her knees.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
God, I am going to, like, way later at a certain point, I'm going to Mississippi, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing family, but it is very much a place where it's like, if you were wearing the wrong thing, like I wore I wore yoga pants, and I might as well have worn a shirt that says like "I suck Satan's cock." Like it was just so like, what? Like from everybody, aunts, uncles, mom, and like the preacher came over, and I wore a skirt that I thought was normal length, but then when I kind of bent over a little bit, I had shorts on. It was this huge, and like I had to apologize. So I'm a little.
That makes me. I know it's your family, and you have to love and respect them. It makes me so angry.
It does. I felt wrong, you know, and it's like.
And you're a grown woman.
I'm a grown, and I don't ask for money. I have my own thing. It's just like I'm tired. I get like mad. And also, like, I saw this, this is the first time I got mad in a long time, but I saw this YouTube travel vlog of this guy who went to Afghanistan, and he was just wearing, like, regular clothes and how he can just go anywhere, and all the comments were like, man, your whole wife and kids, when you get them one day, they're going to have so many stories. And I'm like, you know, fuck this guy. Like, he just gets to go wherever. And then he went to this one country where he had to lie and say he was involved in oil. And so he's like, oh, I had to put on a collared shirt. I never wear a collared shirt. I've never had to lie about who I am. And I'm like, fuck you. And then he's like, and then they asked me, what oil company do you work for? And I never even thought about that. So I just said, you know, the big oil company. And they let me through. And I'm like, you were just believed and like let through, and you are a person that is okay as is. Where I'm sitting here packing, like, is my skirt short enough? Is it long enough? Because you also can't wear anything too baggy because you've got to be seen as like an available woman. I can't go in sweatpants, you know what I mean? So I have to wear like something appropriate and like have the story corroborated. And here's just some guy going where he wants that's a fucking hero and believed and loved and cherished just as he is. I would love that. I would love that.
That was a really good. I think that's that they should have put in the Barbie movie.
For going to Afghanistan, yes.
No, dude, I'm with you with that anger. That is righteous anger, in my opinion. That's just fucked. It's so fucked that that's happening in this fucking year.
It's 2024, and like, yeah, I went to Germany this year. I went to the Grand Canyon. Like, I can travel more than like every other woman in my family has ever done before me, but that it's still like this, and that
what? So if the preacher's gonna grope you if you don't have your ass covered enough? Like,
I don't know. I don't know what that I upset him, that I like caused him to go astray, or I don't know. It made me feel bad. It made me feel ashamed, and that I am not believed. And you know, the fact that this guy got a collared shirt on and said that he'd never had to lie about who he was and didn't even get his fucking story straight, like in a simple way. Like, what a basic ass bitch that is still allowed to go through and live the life as a hero and is proclaimed as a hero when you can barely like put a shirt on and get a story straight. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
I think you should wear the "I suck the devil's dick" shirt in Mississippi. I say just fucking do it. If they're if they can't handle your body just existing and not even trying to be sexual, fucking go. Just like put pasties on. Pasties on. Put on a cod piece that makes it look like you have a dick.
Right. But here's the thing. I'm going to be alone. So I'm going to be alone through this. So, I mean, I will have my mom.
Yeah, go do it. I'll be here. Yeah. And I'll go, yeah, cool. Yay. No, I know. It's very scary. I actually don't want you to do that because it seems like in certain communities, it would just be, people wouldn't be like, well, they punched her because, like, I mean, did you see the outfit? I mean, what else did she expect was going to happen?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm literally going through, like, you know, Goodwills and places looking for modest attire. Oh,
fuck you!
Fuck you! I'm an adult woman.
The people of Mississippi are suffering, like, from corruption. All of the people in poverty there, the drug issues, the not access to fucking women. Pregnant women can't, even if they want to keep the pregnancy, like, are dying in the hospitals because they don't have enough people, like, who can help them give birth. And
right.
But they are worried about whether your fingertips touch the edge of your skirt. Oh, look at that. We gotta suck the devil's. Oh, that's ours.
Oh, that's ours. I sucked the devil's dick in Salem, Massachusetts. Yes, we have a shirt in the merch shop.
And there was a bunch of they raised money for teachers.
That's so funny.
I love it.
Well, we'll get through this, everybody. You know, I'm probably going to talk about the same story. I'm doing it tonight, and so you'll hear the same me screaming about this in a couple weeks. So if you hear it again, I'm still mad. But we're still doing it the same night.
That
You'll
track
hear it
slaps,
again
baby.
later. Right.
Listen to it all night.
Listen to it all night.
Should we let's watch a nice video?
Let's watch a nice little video. So I love cinematography. I love like all these Hollywood tricks. I think people are true geniuses, and we should respect, you know, cinematographers, the people working here tonight. You know, give them a round of applause. Whee! But there's this guy I saw on TikTok who, I don't know how he did this. I really don't know. And I think it's so cute and it's so funny and weird. Let's give it a look.
你走吧，狗哥，慢点啊。不错，别在这舔了，快去吃饭吧。我去吃朱家一趟。
What's he saying?
I don't know. It's Chinese. Sorry.
I
I love the CCP, everybody. What?
Hello.
What was that? Is this a mouse? Guinea pig?
哎呦，来你家一趟是最难的。你爸爸呢，小蜘蛛？哎呀，得了，
It's a
连个
spider.
会说话的人都没有。走了。哎呦，
It's a little Roomba.
再也不来你家了。哎，图图去哪儿了？家伙不是刚才还在这儿？
Oh, it's in Japanese. Sorry. How did he do this?
This is like this feels sort of like a
哎
nightmare.，
你咋在这儿？快让开，让我过去。起开，起开。
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Do you think that was it editing, or was that actually a tiny camera that he was like
I don't know.
sourcing through an actual little
Somebody said it
penthouse?
was fake, but like, how'd you get the animals to look so real? I don't think AI is that scientific
Well,
yet.
I imagine that could just be the animals edited into another video.
Right.
But
still, that's like some crafty camera work.
it was cool. I do feel like that was a dream I had, and I feel uncomfortable about
The
it.
big cat. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was fun.
A little couch spider. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that made anybody feel better. But
This is a doozy of a stream, right? Earthquake. We started with an earthquake. Let's remember that.
we're both about to start our periods.
right.
And they were right. We sync up, and we are witches and women of the devil.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
Ah!